What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm the games adjuster Ethan Rodriguez, and today we are talking about the novel deck building game that is Paperback. So Paperback is a game by Tim Fowers, Fowers Games, illustrated by Ryan Goldsberry, and this is a deck building, word building game. So if you've got fans of Scrabble and you've got fans of Dominion, you smush those together and you come with Paperback. So let me show you how it plays, and then we'll come back here with some final thoughts. Here we go. Okay, to begin the game, players are going to set out what is called the offer. So the offer is going to be comprised of different numbered valued cards. You've got 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 8 through 10. This last pile has a mixture of 8 through 10, but these are all going to be all the specific number. You're going to have a certain amount of these fame cards here based on the player count, I believe. In the 2-player, for example, you'd only have 1 of these and 2 of these, and a few less than these. This can play up to 5 players. And then you'll have the common cards, which are going to be here, just over here, and these will be taken throughout the game, which will be kind of an in-game timer, if you will. So this is a deck building game, and to begin the game, each player is going to get 5 wild cards and these basic letters, NTLRS, and they will shuffle these up. I do have these sleeved. I don't know if they come sleeved. Bought this used, actually. Very cool. It came sleeved already. And then you will draw 5 cards. And so on your turn, you're going to try to make a word. Okay. Now, optionally, you could choose to use one of the letters here. And this would kind of actually look more like this. And forgive me for that. Oop, there you go. So you could use this letter here, or just the ones in your hand, up to you. So let's say we wanted to use that letter there. We might make sonar, right? So we got S-O-N, using the A over there, R. If sonars was a word, I don't know if it is. We could maybe throw that in there, but the wild, you'll notice, doesn't give you any points for buying new cards. So let's just say we did sonar. S-O-N, A from the common letter, R. So after we've made our word, we will count the value on the top left here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we can buy cards. We could either buy some of these fame point cards here. You'll notice at the bottom left is the cost of each card. This is 5, 8, 11, 17, and these are straight points and count as wilds, but they do not give you any points for buying new cards later. So they will go in your deck. They will be points at the end, and they are wild letters, but they won't help you with getting points for new cards. This one's worth 4, 7, 10, and 15. Instead of buying one of these, you could buy some of these cards up here. And so you could buy, let's say we have 4. I could have bought this IS maybe, or maybe I'll just buy this S. And this S, you'll see, has a special ability. It says if word scores 8 or more, plus 1 card to your next hand. That sounds pretty good. And S's are helpful, but I'm going to go with this IS instead. So I would put that card, all the cards I just played, except for the common card over here, and the card in my hand into my discard pile, and the next player would take their turn. And I would draw back up to 5, and I would go again when he comes back to me, and I would make another word. So let's go trail, T-R-A, I'll use that A over there. Let's say S, let's throw this as an S, T-R-A-I-L-S, cool, trails. All right, and then we'd have 1, 2, 3. Anytime you take one of these, it immediately gets replaced, and you can take from either section, either the pile or this space down here. We would have 3 to buy. Let's say we bought this S, and then next player's turn. It comes back to me. If your deck runs out, you would need to shuffle everything again, or draw what you could until the deck ran out. Shuffle it up, and then take a card to make your hand back to 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, here we go. What do we got? Nothing great. So what you're trying to do, though, is once you get a decent enough hand, you're trying to either make a word long enough to get these common cards, or build your engine well enough that you're going to get some cards, and you can later maybe get some of these here that are going to give you a lot of points, because the game will end in one of 2 ways. Either A, the common cards here are taken, all 4 are taken, in which case the game ends, or B, 2 of these piles are taken here, the game will end. And so you'll notice some of these larger cards here are going to get you a lot of points, but they're a little bit harder to play. This J here, for example, will get you 5 points, and it doubles your word score, but you will have to trash it after use. Anytime you see trash would mean that this card, after being used, is out of the game. All right. Some of them will add more cards to your hand. Others will let you gain cards by putting them in your discard pile, costing up to a certain amount. You'll need to keep track of the ones that give you an extra card in your next hand, like this one here and this one here. Some of them, if you use all the letters in your hand, then you will get extra 2 money for buying power. Very cool. And so players will keep playing back and forth. Very simple deck building mechanism until either A, all 4 of these are taken. Notice these will also get you points. Or B, 2 of these piles here are taken, in which case you will count all the cards in your hand, discard pile, and deck. Your wilds will automatically get you a point to begin the game. And whoever has the most points is the winner. So that's the base game. Now this game has a ton of variety. I do actually have the expansion over here on the side. I'm going to show you that very briefly. I'll just kind of show you the rules for it. I'm not going to pull out all the cards. But just in the base game here, this is the base game rulebook. Okay. You'll notice there are tons of little expansions. So you got the space bar, which is another common letter you can use. Dyslexic, which is another common letter you can use. You've got attack cards, which if you want a little more interaction, they will do things to other players. You've got variable player powers. Award cards. These are basically different criteria that you can meet. The first person who does that gets a reward. You've got theme cards, so like they'll say Western maybe, or space or something like that. And whoever plays a word that best satisfies that theme will get that card as well, as voted by the group. You've got some optional rules, including cubes, where you can ask your fellow players for help, and if you give them a cube, they can use that as a value to add to when they purchase things. And there's a ton of different variety on the cubes, like this one here. You can discard your hand for a cube. Cube count as discount tokens. You can recycle the 2 cards instead of trashing them. Most of these here, actually all of them, will say trash after use. That can be helpful. These are basic vowels. And then you also can play cooperatively. And so if you've watched Richard Ham, Rado, he's a big proponent of this co-op mode of Paperback. I have not tried it yet. I'm very eager to, and you basically just kind of set out a pyramid here, and you will need to get together in your cooperative mode, get these cards off before any one of them can collect 5 cubes. And you're always going to put a cube on an uncovered card if you did not buy one that turn. Okay, and so that's all base game. Now, if we go to the expansion here, it comes with a little rule book here, kind of folds out. You've got unabridged fame cards, which basically sort into 3 piles and have variable amounts that will be shuffled in and showing for a round, so they're not going to be the static cards here. You have unabridged starter cards, new wild cards, trash cards. You can go dumpster diving in the discard pile. There's kind of a set collection thing with this lowercase letters. There's asterisks, typos. There's just a ton of stuff here. So I haven't played all of it, to be honest with you. I've mainly just been playing the base game and a couple of the expansions, but that's pretty much the game. So let me go back up top. I'll tell you a little bit more about it and what I think of it. So here we go. Okay, there you go. That is Paperback. Let's talk about it. We'll start with the theme. So the theme is, you're building this, novel. You're building these words. I mean, it's not super thematic, but I'm going to transition right away into the production. I think the production is great. I love Ryan Goldsberry's art. It's all over Fowers Games. Things like the Grand Carnival. That's a Brorius game, but I think it's published by Fowers Game. But like Sabotage, Hardback, Word Domination. I mean, all of these games that they put out, they have this great artwork, and I love it. It's so fun and it's so neat, and there's so many play on words. Like the author of these different novels you'll see on the fame cards, her name is Paige Turner, right? So yeah, I mean, thematically you're just building words. It's like Scrabble and stuff like that, so it's not a huge theme, but I do love the art and the production. And I don't believe this game comes with sleeves, so I do have it sleeved. This is another one I got secondhand recently, and these are really nice sleeves. Actually, they are right here. I guess Dragon Shield Clear Matte is what they are. Very cool. Very nice sleeves. One minor complaint I'm going to say is I have both the base game and the expansion unabridged. Now, sleeved, that does not all fit. This thing is super tight with everything, that base game and a few things from the expansion. I actually have all the extra letters from the expansion in here, along with a few more different items that were from the expansion. So a little bummed they don't fit. I've read on BGG that if you get like the penny sleeves, I guess they're thinner, that it might fit all of it. Very, very close. Um, but I got these for free, and they're good sleeves, and I like that they're got a little bit of a texture on the other side, on the back side, so they don't slide. So I'm not going to do that, but boy, it would have been nice just a little bit bigger of a box to fit everything. You know, well, I don't know. Maybe they'll come out with a bigger box for it with another expansion that would hold. I don't know. Something would be nice. Um, but actually, yeah, if you can look here, there's the little dividers that come with it, so it's very easy to put everything away, and it makes the setup in the next game very simple. So that's a good production touch. The rule book is kind of tucked into the side here, and it's like kind of thin paper. It's okay. It's very wordy, no pun intended, as far as block text goes. But it's fine. So I think the rules overall are pretty easy. The abilities and everything make sense. There's just a few things, and maybe I'm just misreading it, like when it's like +1 cent to your purchasing when you buy next turn, but they have the cents on the bottom left to purchase, but the money they give you to purchase doesn't have the cent on the top left. So I don't know why they didn't just put cents on both sides. I get like they're trying to make like this is the purchase price, this is the price that it gives you in the future, but if it's the same currency, you just maybe should reinforce that. Maybe with like a P and a B or something. I don't know, like purchase buy. So that's a little weird for a rules thing. And I will say, because there's so much expansions, I don't think they're that hard to throw in. But if you're gonna pick and choose which ones, or maybe like a order of operations for setup and things like that. So overall, though, I think the rules are pretty simple. You draw your 5 cards, you make a word, you may or may not use a common word. That's it. And then you will buy cards. If you've played a bunch of deck builders in the past, that will not be foreign to you at all. That will be very easy and familiar. And so moving on to the gameplay, I really enjoy it. I do like word games. I was playing almost religiously, Words with Friends a few years ago. I have not played it as much lately. I did enjoy playing Scrabble as a kid. I'm certainly not, one of these experts that knows all of the 2 and 3 letter words that are going to get you a bukus of points. But I do like to think I have a decent vocabulary, and I like to challenge myself with that and think of not just can I make a word, right? You get your letters in this game, 5 cards, sometimes 6, maybe 7 with a common letter. Scrabble, you get your hand to 7, and it's never really been can I make a word. It's which word it gets me the most points, and I like that double challenge of first find the words, then find the order of the letters and the placement on like Scrabble. Let's say what's going to give me most points, and in this game, okay, which combination of letters, and do I use or not use the common card, of which cards in the future can I add to the cards I already have, so that when I draw them together, I can make this really good word. So I really like that. I think that's very neat, and it's very unique, right? You don't see, as a gamer, quote unquote gamer, you think word games like, oh, it's not really a gamer genre. And a lot of gamers I know really don't like word games, and that's totally fine, because it almost seems like a barrier to entry, that you have to have this extensive vocabulary. And of course, if you are a non-native English speaker and you're playing an English word game, you're kind of at a disadvantage. So there are definitely some, again, barriers to entry, but I think this kind of quashes that a little bit, in the sense that you're only getting 5 letters, and there's a ton of wilds. So you're not having to make some crazy word out of Q or QTR, INOZ or something. I don't know, that makes the word in any way, but you're not having to do that. You're just really focused on, okay, I've got a couple of consonants, a couple of vowels, a bunch of wilds. I've got some options. I just need to make a word and try to play a longer word so I can get those bonuses from the common cards, because as soon as I play the 7, 8, 9, or 10 letter word, I'm going to get those cards, add those to my deck. And also I want to work this out so I can buy bigger cards that are going to get me more points to eventually buy those fame cards. So yeah, I think it kind of smooths that over a little bit, and it doesn't feel like just making the best word. And then you add the cooperative variant on top of that, and now I can work with my, teammates or teammates to cooperatively make the best word. So now I can help you make your word, and it's not, hey, I'm smarter than you, you're smarter than me, you got the better vocabulary or whatever. It's, hey, let's work together, let's make a good word so that we don't lose, right? So yeah, it's good. I like games for the mental challenge, and in Euro games and stuff, it's about the strategic planning and the order of operations, and like Ameritrash games, it's like the negotiation and risk mitigation with battle, and that the tactical side of things. And this is the word puzzle, and I like that. I like challenging myself to learn new words, or um, test myself in my vocabulary and see what words I can come up with. And yeah, it's just a good refresher. So I really like the gameplay. The time, I'm going to dig in a little bit here because it is a word game. And with not only trying to make a word, but trying to make the best word, there's a lot of AP. And I'm not just me guilty of that. When we were playing it, the group was guilty of that a little bit. It's going to happen with a board game. Now, I'm not sure if it's better with more or less players. On the one hand, with less players, if your opponent has AP, then if you figure your word out right away, you're not having to wait that long. But sometimes it feels like they figured out their word already, and you're still thinking about yours, and you're like, oh man, I'm slowing up the game. There's one person just waiting on me. I got to hurry and make a word, and you get that pressure. Now, in a bigger group, you may not necessarily get that pressure because you're going to have even more time to think. But on the flip side, you can't plan as well because they may take the letters you needed. And also, it's going to take that much longer to get back to your turn if you figured out your word very quickly. So I don't really know what the best player count is. It's going to help with that. That's probably my biggest drawback of the game, is just that downtime and the AP that comes with trying to make the best word. So keep that in mind. And the variety is really, really, really good. I mean, there's so many different modules and expansions or mini expansions and variants that you can throw in and throw out. Change the base letter cards, change the wild cards you start with, change the fame cards and how those are even organized. Are they static piles? Are they shuffled into 3 piles? Do you use the new fame cards in the expansion if you have that? But even if you don't have the expansion, just the base game has all those mini expansions too. So yeah, the variety is really, really good. And you're making words, right? So when you get this different combination of letters in front of you, you're going to have different options. And your whole vocabulary is going to be your pool that you can pull from. So that's cool. So yeah, overall, I really like Paperback. I'm torn on this one. I told myself I'm not going to do half ratings. I'm not. I think I'm going to give this one a solid 7 right now. I know I just kind of sung its praises, but I think what really hinders my rating is just the time. So interestingly enough, on the heels of this on Kickstarter right now is Paperback Adventures. And I think it's like a solo / now 2-player cooperative adventure type game, roguelike game. I actually had to look up what that was. I wasn't sure what that is. But I am very interested in that because in the multiplayer setting, I kind of feel that pressure and I don't like the time it takes back to get to my turn. But in a solo setting with that Paperback Adventures, I'm really tempted because I like the words, and in that game you kind of splay things left and right, and same thing, you have the same word. Like I watched a run through and they made the word news. You can splay it left, it does one thing, you can splay it right and it does another thing to the villain. So I don't know, in the chat or the comments, let me know your thoughts on Paperback. Let me know if you plan to back Paperback Adventures. If so, why. If not, why not? And remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any other really gamery word games that you think we should check out, let me know. Otherwise, I've been the Games Jester, Ethan Rodriguez. Thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you on the next one.